Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider hitting the subscribe button, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 9 of Cups, wow. Happiness. The dream that keeps on dreaming, the happiness that keeps on happening. This is us living an abundant life in every dimension. There is abundance, fulfillment, and satisfaction on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and the spiritual creative planes. You're somebody that knows what you want. You're somebody that has, that you have your own best interests at heart. You know, I think you're not going to let anybody kind of interfere with your path. You're not going to let anybody push you off of your true course in life. You know, I feel like you really know what kind of life you're meant to have. And I think that you have a tremendous optimism right now. Now, we had a card that sort of volunteered, and that was the Hierophant. Okay, so you've got this Hierophant that sort of is leaping out at you, in your reading, and I wonder why that is. Because sometimes the Hierophant is an outside wisdom energy, an outside opinion, an outside voice. The Hierophant is the one that interprets the sacred texts for us. You know? This is someone or something or some institution or some belief system or some cultural thing or maybe another person that I feel like is trying to tell you what's best for you. Trying to tell you what your happiness should mean to you. Okay? Or how you find it, how to pursue it, and how to go about getting it. Okay? So I feel like this is something in the outer world that's influencing how you've been thinking about your own abundance, fulfillment, happiness, success, your satisfaction with the life that you're living. I wonder if we're recognizing that. I wonder if at every turn you're trying to do something for yourself, for your life, right? To improve your life, to improve the quality of your life, to alleviate suffering for yourself and for others, right? It's in the context of your larger world, you know. And I wonder if at every turn that Hierophant is jumping out to tell you to turn back, to tell you, no, that's not meant for you, or to tell you, no, that's not yours, you should be doing something else. I wonder if it's been this kind of almost a haunting energy. Let's put all of this into context. Obviously, context is needed. Right now, we've got a 6 of Pentacles. Very nice. I love the 6 of Pentacles. We've got the Sun card. What do we have behind us? An Ace of Cups. Above you, an Ace of Pentacles. And, wow, okay. We've got the Queen of Pentacles, which is a mutable earth. It is one of your power cards. It is your superpower card in action. This is a card that is associated with the mutable earth energy of Virgo. I feel like you are done with this Hierophant kind of energy. You're going your own way. And, well, in a way, the Queen of Pentacles is saying, don't look back. Continue on this journey that you're on now because it is the right one. But see here, now, Path of the Serpent, we've got a 3 of Swords. We've got the Eon Judgment, rebirth, reawakening. We've got a Queen of Swords, and we got a 3-1. You know the path ahead of you. You know what it is that you need to do in order to fulfill your happiness, to succeed in this endeavor of just having a good life, right? Of improving your situation, expanding on the quality of your life, alleviating suffering, going toward your goals, all these great things, right? I think the Hierophant is this external force that's always trying to block you or tell you that you should be turning down a different road. It's kind of like maybe we've been seeking validation outside of ourselves. Okay? I feel like you're in pursuit of your own truth. You're going to interpret the sacredness of the world in your own way. We're not going to listen to the Hierophant. We're not going to be told how we should be looking at life and what things we should want, what should make us happy, what we're supposed to believe in, what we're supposed to pursue, what our sort of prescribed goals should be. Right? So let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it right here with our little sea turtle friend right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need. If at any point during this program you may feel like you know what that card is, put a prediction down in the comments below. Okay. Now, as we look around the room, we see the sun and we see this doorway of the Judgment card. Okay. We also have the Hierophant, this was kind of an unexpected external energy. It's a card that kind of flew into the reading and said, wait a minute, nope, this isn't for you. No, this isn't. And maybe this Hierophant represents some conditioning, a system of beliefs that have been built into us, ingrained into us, telling us we don't deserve this happiness, that doing the good things that we're doing aren't gonna help us. We're not gonna work. We're not gonna succeed. It's not going to happen for us. All of that negative stuff that may feel like it's somebody else's voice telling this to you. Could be family, could be history, could be culture, could be ancestors, could be all sorts of things. Could be generational stuff. It could be stuff out there in the world. It could literally be people in your life that are sort of influencing your internal dialogue, as it were. Okay. So we've got our majors. We have a little bit of fire at the end. We've got water and water. We've got air and air. We've got earth, earth, and earth. So you have a pretty decent balance of cards here. Okay. And I think that what you're looking for, rather than the external validation, right? Rather than seeking some sort of confirmation from people or from the world or from society or from people, things, places, whatever outside of you, I feel like you're seeking your own illumination inside of you. You're seeking this inner light. Okay, well, I mean, your power card is the Hermit anyway, right? So I feel like this is right on target. We're looking for the light within. We're doing the introspection. We're trying to shine of our own light. What is right for me? What is my life supposed to be? What things do I need to do that are going to be beneficial to me and my world, my universe? Right? So I feel like you're in this mode of introspection with the Sun card underneath the surface here. Okay? I think that you're looking within for answers rather than the external validation of the Hierophant. Okay? The Hierophant, it seems to always kind of jump in when you're starting to make things go your way, you're starting to live your life, you're starting to you're starting to feel better, you're starting to do good things, you're starting to, Six of Pentacles, we'll talk about that. You're starting to do all the right things for your life, then suddenly the Hierophant will jump in and say, wait a minute, no, get back to what you're doing, get back to where you're supposed to be, It's a kind of a wicked stepmother type of, fairy tale energy. As soon as you start asserting yourself and living life for the right reasons, this energy will come in and say, no, don't do it. Get back to work. Get back to what you're supposed to be doing. That stuff, that good stuff, is not meant for you, right? I think you're trying to shine by your own light here. Okay. So the Six of Pentacles to me is kind of a card that represents harmony in our physical world, right? It's a beauty and a harmony. It's everything functioning together. To me, it's kind of the 6 pillars of health, the 6 pillars of well-being, right? Obvious things, like nutrition, intentional movement, right? Or, in other words, diet and exercise, right? Sleep, right? Sleep's another one. It's 3. We want to manage our stress. Okay, that's 4. We want to, we want to be careful about how we might tend toward the use of substances, right? That kind of goes with our 3 of Swords here. We don't want to feel as if that is going to solve our problems, because sometimes that, if we really are feeling this way in our core, this 3 of Swords way, we might be prone to overusing some substances in order to make us kind of feel more content with that, to be able to, maybe some self-medication, things like this. So we want to limit that. We want to be responsible. We want to have that in a very balanced and manageable way. And what was that, 5? The 6th one then becomes our relationships. How we are relating to ourselves, but how we're relating to the world as a whole. How we are perhaps relating to that Hierophant. And of course, that gives us the 6, but there's the energy right in the center, right? The 6 is the hexagram, which represents the 7 planets, right? Because the sun is right in the center, and the sun is you. And so that the 7th factor, the 7th pillar here is your core, it's your essence, it's your purpose in life. It's that center position from which we are radiating outward, and you are this radiant sun that is organizing your life. I think that you're starting a lot of these intentional things. You're starting to pay more attention. You're realizing that your happy life, right, your abundant life is going to be dependent upon these different factors. Maybe not all of them. Maybe one or the other is really where your focus is, but I think you're creating a balanced life in the physical realm. You're doing the things that are right for you. You probably are a little bit more focused on nutrition and movement and paying attention to how much sleep you're getting. I think that's really that's the work for you right now, is to make sure that your physical environment and your general lifestyle is going to be conducive to your happiness, regardless of what the Hierophant tells you. The Hierophant is all the stuff we see on the news, or our friends are doing, or the stuff we see on TV, what the celebrities are doing, what our culture says we're supposed to be doing, right? All of these things that has to come from within, and you know that. You are the hermit anyway, right? So I like that we have the sun down here in the inner kind of core position. In the background, we have this Ace of Cups. Okay, and I wonder if the Ace of Cups is perhaps that perhaps we've withdrawn from something that at one time was important to us, or we thought was important to us. Because I feel like this is something that we were devoted to, we were focused on. It could be a person, place, a thing, a path. But this is in your background. This is your history. Okay. And moving on from this, I think there was perhaps some clarity, some realization that this, while it may have been, feeling good or something, or we enjoyed this, or we thought that this was the thing, maybe we realized that it was, how to say that maybe this was consuming our attention. You know what I mean? Maybe this was something, it could be a relationship, that was sort of distracted us, in a way, from what we knew and know currently that we should really be doing for our true. I kind of feel like you're leaving this Ace of Cups, this, whatever this was, this love. I feel like you're kind of leaving this behind, or putting this even on the back burner, so that you can focus on getting your life into a better balance and starting new things that are going to be sort of emerging from your true self, radiating from you. Okay? Rather than devoting all of your time, attention, and energy, or perhaps even sacrificing your overall happiness because something else was activating your heart chakra. Something else was perhaps, this was what, in a way, this is what the Hierophant says you're supposed to love, you're supposed to be into, this is what you should be devoting yourself to. I feel as if we're leaving that behind. And honestly, I feel like your Queen of Pentacles here saying, don't look back. Don't look back. Do what you need to do for yourself. Stay on the vertical path. And when you have established this kind of a harmony and beauty and, really a success in your life in this manner, then maybe we can have a retrospective and we can look back at this and we can see the truth of it. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't be so attached to this right now that then there comes the Hierophant saying, get back here and get back to this. Okay? Because I feel like the 9 of Cups and the 6 of Pentacles is a more happy, healthy, productive, successful life that you're creating. Okay? Based on your intentions, based on your virtue, your inner illumination. Okay? So this is what I feel we've walked away from, or we have at least put it on hold, or we've put it on the back burner to some degree. The Ace of Pentacles at the top, this is all of the new things that you're doing for yourself. I think you're trying to incorporate all of these 6 pentacles, of course, with yourself in the center. You're starting these new things, and you're realizing which one, if any of these, let's say 6 or 7 pillars of health or well-being, which one of these might need your focus. And it's kind of like I need to focus on those things so that I can become the best version of myself because, well, remember, this is your superpower card in the future position. So you're trying to become a better version of yourself. And maybe that means that, look, this was sucking up too much of my time, effort, energy, and or money. This was where my devotion was, and perhaps it was to something outside of you, something external. And I don't know if something perhaps happened there, but that 3 of Swords is kind of an interesting twist on things, yeah. So I feel that you're realizing that your time, at least right now, for this phase of your life, this period of time, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, or it's going to be a few months, I mean, it's up to you. But I think it's going to be about you establishing the 6 of Pentacles balance and harmony in your own kind of choices, in the things that you're going to be doing. You're going to be focused more on, like I said, your health and well-being, on the nutrition and intentional movement and sleep and managing stress and introspection and finding your purpose, living your purpose. And I think that doing this, focusing on one or more or all of these things, your relationship, having everything in balance. You know, when we're focused too much on this Ace of Cups, I think it is like we've put all of our happiness in one little cup here instead of having the balanced, multi-dimensional, tri-level kind of happiness here, right? And on every plane, what we're looking for is balance, not a hyper-fixation on one thing. So when we have the Ace of Pentacles, it's us knowing, okay, which one of these pillars is a little bit, has been in need of a little bit of attention, okay? And I think the result is, in the very near future, you're going to be feeling more like yourself again. You're going to be feeling like you're doing things that are correct for you. Yeah, and we're getting away from that Hierophant, which again is maybe other things out in the world telling us what to do. It's kind of like the Hierophant is a very dogmatic personal trainer that says, this is the exercise you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to eat and all that stuff. And we're realizing that, you know what? I need to figure that out for me. I need to balance it, and I need to arrange it, and I need to tweak things a little bit so they work for me. Okay? Because the Hierophant is a conformist. The Hierophant wants everybody to conform to its standards. I wrote the book on exercise, and now everybody has to do exactly what I say in my book, you know? And so I feel like you're finding your own light inside. That spiritual part of you, that very conscious and awake part of you that knows what is working and not working for you, for your love, for your happiness, for your abundance in every dimension of life, for your happiness, for you to have this health and well-being. You've got to rebalance your life, and this has to come from you, not from the Hierophant. Okay. And so the Hierophant now it's not a bad card, it's a good card. But the Hierophant is, it's kind of like we read a book on something, and now we think, well, if I follow that book to the letter, I'll be happy, right? What you're realizing, I think, is that light inside of you, that clarity that comes from within that says, yeah, I'm happy that I read the book. I've got that knowledge. but I have to tailor that knowledge to my own life, my own soul, and use it in a way that's going to be productive and correct, and that's going to be successful for me. Okay. And this could apply to anything in life. You know, if we just kind of rigidly and dogmatically follow the instructions, we're not necessarily going to get the results that were promised in the book. You know, we have to realize that we're very unique. Everybody is different. I have to do what's right for me. You have to do what's right for you. There is no one size fits all. Okay, we learn from the Hierophant, but then there is a time where we have to put that Hierophant energy behind us and say, I have to travel via my own light. Okay, so I think what you're doing is you're kind of going in with this kind of a minimalist of spirit. You know, you're simplifying, you're focusing, you're letting go of anything that muddies your energy. You're lighting the lamp of your own soul, right? So that you can light the way for yourself, to your very best self. Okay. And I think that this is really about you emerging as the sunshine in your life, so to speak, and you're relying more on yourself. You're finding a stability and a wisdom. This is a very practical understanding of life here. The Queen of Pentacles just by itself is very understanding of the way things work. It's kind of like you can read the book and you can regurgitate all the facts, all the data from the book, but you're turning something like this into a living knowledge, a functioning wisdom and understanding, right? So it's the difference between somebody that memorizes something and can spit back the answers. Sure, get a good grade on the test, yeah. Versus somebody that really absorbs the material, understands it, and is able to apply it to life in a deeper way with wisdom and understanding because of this inner light, this inner clarity that can absorb all of this Hierophant material and sort of transmute it into that inner wisdom, into that inner light. Okay? And so I think you're finding your own truth, your own path forward here. That's going to make you very, very happy. I mean, we got really good cards here, don't we? These are amazing, amazing cards. The only thing that is interesting to me now is the idea of that sort of hermit loneliness, right? That we're not trying to isolate ourselves from anybody. I don't think that you are sequestering yourself. I don't think that you really are focusing on solitude, but in a way, energetically, you kind of are. Because you're trying to say, I'm following my own light. I know what I need to do, how I can balance my life to create the kind of happy and abundant life that I want. And now that's going to involve your relationships and the people that you connect with. I think it's also your ability to understand who not to connect with, what opinions not to listen to, you know. Maybe that's going to take us over to the path of the serpent. Let's talk about these cards. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Okay. The Three of Swords is a card of sorrow. It's a card of sometimes like a negative internal dialogue. Okay. That it usually is a card of memory. It's kind of like we are reliving a past event, and that's causing us present pain and suffering and sorrow, right? And this is your general energy. So I wonder what this was, what this Ace of Cups really was for you. That the idea now of, when we look back, I think, when we look back at this, we're reliving some of those moments, and I think that it is, it's sort of putting us into this lower vibrational energy. Okay. You're moving toward your maturity, and maybe this is a necessary phase where we have to, in some sense, this could be the understanding that we have to create our own reality. This is the three. It's a card of understanding the process of creation on the mental plane. So maybe we're realizing that we need a more mature attitude about life. This is that kind of almost like an existential fear when we realize that I've got to find my own way through life. I can't just rely on the Hierophant. I can't let the Hierophant drive the car anymore. Now I'm out here doing it on my own. And so there's a little bit of perhaps loneliness or sorrow. It may be a kind of a Buddhist realization that, existence is suffering, But I think that this is an interesting contrast to this wonderful joy, happiness, love. We're starting new things. We're balancing our life. We're feeling good. Health and well-being is on track. We are focused on fulfillment and abundance and joy in every dimension of being. We are maturing into our energy. We've got this light and clarity in us, but yet there is still this little bit of underlying sorrow, And so this could be the effect of when we do look back, or when we are feeling almost tied to something, and I don't know, it's almost like there's some kind of a program that runs in our heads that kind of, that almost feels guilty for being happy. Almost feels as if, it could be kind of an imposter syndrome, right? That we're feeling like we're taking charge of our life, we're guiding our path, we're seeing our path through our own spiritual light, our own clarity. And sometimes we feel like this is a mistake. I don't really know what I'm doing, or we sort of get pulled back into the that kind of demiurgic energy with that Hierophant, and it may be that there are things that are kind of pulling on your heartstrings a little bit to keep you conforming to that Hierophant energy, rather than finding your own path here, rather than operating from your own inner sunshine here, right? So this could be psychological complexes. This could be the memories of past sorrows or past traumas that are still kind of activating things that we need to let go of. Literally, this is literally the card that says there are things from our past that we need to let go of because we keep reliving them in our heads. And every time we do that, it's like it's happening again, because our subconscious, our brain, our body, it doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future. So this is us reliving something that could have happened a long, long time ago, right? Reliving that, and for all intents and purposes, it's happening right now. Our body feels the stress of that right now. So I think the one thing that we are working on as far as these 6 or 7 pillars of well-being is the stress reduction. Because when we feel this kind of, it's an existential stress. It's like something from, we can't usually pinpoint it, right? Or maybe we can, or maybe it's a series of things. It's something it's a complex that's been built up in us over a long period of time, since we were kids or something. And we tend to sort of drown that sorrow in that Hierophant energy. And so we don't have to worry about this. But now that we've moved away from that Hierophant energy, we're forced to face these things and get through them and find out, where did this originate? Why do I feel this way? Why do I think these thoughts? Maybe this is a card that sometimes leads us to self-sabotage. Maybe this leads us to abandoning our path, or when we get so close to a feeling of happiness and success and well-being and health and all this good stuff, when we get too close to this, do we sometimes feel a fear or some kind of unconscious programming that gets activated, and we end up walking away from something that's really good for us? We end up turning back. We end up falling back into those old habits or patterns or whatever, right? So it could. But the understanding, the wisdom, the light that you're seeking is not in the past. It's in the future. So I feel like we are moving on from something, and we're going to recognize when something in us gets activated again that's trying to pull us back to the past event or situation or life or belief system or whatever it was. And we're trying to kind of separate ourselves from whatever the source of this is, because this is something that still affects you, at least mentally. And this could be a stress reduction kind of card. Could be saying really that's the portion of things that we need to focus on. Why are we, even when things seem like they're going fantastically, why do we still have that 3 of Swords Sorrow as our general energy. Okay. I think that we are no longer seeking approval from the past, from ex-lovers, old friends, outdated ideals. We're becoming kind of anchored here in our solar self. You know, this guidance coming from within, not from your memory. Because that's what the Three of Swords is. It's our memory. Really, it's our memory of some painful events, right? And every time we remember them, we relive them, we re-experience them. And so it's hurting us all over again, and it's reinforcing whatever those situations taught us. You see? And that's the Hierophant, teaching us what that meant. We had a bad experience as a child, and what did that teach us? Taught us that I wasn't worth success, that I wasn't worthy of love or success or good fortune or anything like this, right? And so every time we remember that, we're reinforcing that belief that I'm not worthy of this, I'm not good enough, or I'm not tall enough, or I'm not short enough, or whatever. Right. So this, I think, is important, that as a central focus of what we're trying to deal with right now. And, well, we've got our Aeon card in the environment. So there is this definite decision that you're making to let go of something from the past. Okay? We're not trying to retrace old steps. We're not trying to relive what was. You are lighting your way forward, and you're going through this doorway that says, as soon as I go through this door, my universe is mine to create. The past is the past. I'm shutting the door behind me, and that past isn't going to haunt me anymore. Whatever that stuff, whatever it was, I'm not going to try to guess what it was. I have some ideas. But we need to go forward, and we need to leave that back there. Okay? This is a card of change, big time. This is a doorway. Let's do a divine doorway oracle card here. Okay? You do not need to go back to who you were to become who you're meant to be. Okay? Okay, your divine doorway is your silent skill. I challenge you to unpack your mind in meditation's grace. The soul can unwind. Breathe in, breathe out, let go of doubt. Maybe this is doubt, fear. This is perhaps a loneliness, a card of not believing in ourselves as much as we should. It really is a contrast between these two. This is what we're really searching for. This is what's within you that you're trying to tap into, but this might be how you're kind of feeling now. This is what we have to let go of. Leave that back there too, and then you can replace it with this, and then we're golden, right? We're going through this fiery doorway. And the fiery doorway, it's a doorway of fire, right? Because as you go through it, you have to leave behind the past. It's going to burn off everything that's not essential to who you are right now and the path that you're on. Okay. So I think this is a wonderful, very positive energy. We've just got to get through whatever is preventing us from really going through this doorway and saying, that's it, I know what I need to do for my happiness, my health, my success, my well-being, and I'm going to do it. Here's a Language of Flowers affirmation card, clarity. Bright paths of understanding will open. Yes, clarity, right? Bright paths of understanding. Not the dim, dark, muddied, and scary and confused Three of Swords. We're moving toward clarity. Moving toward pathways of understanding, right? Which is what your true self, this superpower of yours is. You're able to understand and not just regurgitate the same old things. You don't just have it memorized, and whenever it's prompted, you can speak it. You understand in a deep way what your past meant, what all of that meant to you, and how you can use that, and how you can kind of turn that into a practical, forward-moving momentum, right? Clarity, yes. We have, this is a card of clarity too. This is the difficulty. It's the Queen of Swords. Okay. The Queen of Swords is sort of the difficult thing we have here is to detach from the emotions a little bit. Because, well, we have the Ace of Cups right here, right? We have some very strong emotions in the past. The Queen of Swords is the energy that tries to get a bird's eye view of things, tries to rise up into the sky, right? Away from the water, right? Kind of going up into the air and looking at things, you know, as objectively as we can anyway, to see things really for what they were. And not letting that emotional attachment, you know, kind of drive our decisions and dictate our path for us, that we're kind of looking at things from that bird's eye view. We're seeing the past, the present, and the future, and we're detached a little bit. And I think it's important that we try to do that, because when we're here in the Three of Swords, it's dark, it's muddy, it's confused, we can't really see the pathway. This is a lack of clarity, right? This is us doing the difficult thing of working toward clarity. And maybe this is in meditation, maybe this is through journaling, maybe this is through, you know, it could be a lot of other things, you know. This is the way that we're, you know, spiritual work, spiritual practices. It could be through tarot, it could be through other forms of divination, if that's your thing. A lot of ways that we can strive for clarity. We don't want to romanticize the past. Okay, we don't want to experience or relive the emotional connection that was here, whether it was positive or negative. Okay, we're not trying to retreat from this or be scared of this. Okay, we're trying to be objective in this, and now maybe this was something very, very good, right? And maybe now it's kind of like there's this pain of being separated from what was very, very good. Maybe it was a relationship or something that we really loved, and maybe it's not in your life anymore. And so this looking back at that thing is almost creating a sorrow that says, I'll never have anything that good again. Okay, so that Ace of Cups could be positive or negative. But looking back at that with the emotional attachment is going to continue to activate that connection, and it's going to influence the decisions that we're making for our lives. Okay. So we need that objectivity. Now the Three of Wands is a wonderful card too. This is the card of virtue. This is the card that says, I know what I need to do, and my choices come from within. My will comes from in here, and I'm going to go forward. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know that I'm capable of doing it, and now I am doing it, right? The three levels of virtue. Knowing the right thing to do, believing that we're capable of doing it, and then, obviously, doing the darn thing. Right? So I feel like you're making a lot of really positive, healthy choices in your life right now. I think you're changing a lot of things. Okay? I think definitely we don't want to look back at whatever that Hierophant Ace of Cups energy is, because that is going to keep us stuck. We can honor the past. We want to understand it. We want to embrace, we want to know that it's part of us, but we're no longer going to follow that path. Your light is in front of you now, not behind you. Okay? And it could really be the Three of Swords really could be part of this fear of the unknown as well. We're afraid of not knowing, like, the results. Like if I stand up, I start doing things for myself on my own, like for my own volition, my own clarity, my own will. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, this is us doing the right thing even when other people may not like it. It may put us at cross purposes with large portion of the world, you know. There's a comfort in conformity, you know. There's always a little tinge of sorrow or loneliness when we're following our own path. Because it's our unique journey, it's our own Tao, it's our own way. And if it's everybody else's way, well, then you'll be there with everybody else. But when you're going your own way, there's not as many companions. You know? And so I feel like you're doing the right things for your life here. This is such a beautiful pillar, right? I love this. Let's look at the mystery card. I don't know, maybe the Hermit, maybe some more cups. No, I don't know. Maybe the World, right? Maybe the World card. Maybe the Wheel of Fortune. by focusing our energy this way, the universe or world card or the Wheel of Fortune would reference like an infinite expansion of possibilities. That it's kind of like our world, a new world is opening up to us. You know, that we're not like the Hierophant is kind of saying, this is what your role is in life, this is who you are, this is who you're supposed to be, and that's it. It's a really small little bubble, right? But the Wheel of Fortune is expanding. We're expanding our perception of the world. Everything is open to us. There's infinite possibilities, right? Let's see. If you have a prediction for this card, put it in the comments. Oh, yeah, look at that. It is the Hermit. Of course it is. Because I feel like the Hermit is doing exactly what you're doing now. We've got to ring this bell, too. This is the card that rules the sign of Virgo, right? And so this is perfectly right, that you are releasing the past. You're going forward. You are not looking backward. Your light is shining forward. It is the light of your own soul. And I think that you're doing things that you know are right for your life because you want to get this 9 of Cups. You got to balance out that 6 of Pentacles. You got to know, I got to do this. And so it's kind of like, well, you're focused on let's say healthy eating, right? And so then, you're not going to go and be able to indulge with your friends all the time, right? You're going to have to say, well, no, I'm eating a salad or whatever, right? And it's and I know that's a very silly and simple illustration, but it's true. For instance, somebody like, for me, I was a drinker for a long time, since I was a teenager. Really, it was terrible. And when I stopped through a whole series of events, I no longer drink. But when that sort of, when that shift happened, it put me at odds with a lot of my old friends. And suddenly now I'm not going to all the parties anymore. My friend who throws a lot of house parties, I stopped kind of going to a lot of them because it wasn't my environment, it wasn't my thing anymore. So sometimes we're making choices to follow our own path, a path that's right for us, and it's going to put us at odds with our core group of people, right? Our comfortable, familiar world or life that we had. And that's the Hermit, kind of going our own way, even if it means it's going to be a little bit of a lonelier path. You might be in that position right now where you're not relating to your old people anymore. You haven't yet found your new people. But that's not a reason to stop doing this wonderful, beautiful work that you're doing. You see? So by going your own way, you're going to because again, relationships, right? That's one of those pillars of well-being. We need relationships, but healthy ones. We're not going to continue to go back and say, well, I still want to have the love I had with my old friends. So I guess I got to start drinking again because I want to have that love. I want to have that camaraderie. I want to have that comfortable experience of being with all my friends, And that's probably not your situation, but that's the energy especially the energy of the Hermit right now. Okay? So don't look back. We're going to do an extended reading. We're going to do Jing hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Virgo are on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. The readings are free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.